Jiang Xun woke up to find that the world had been completely changed, and a towering Tower of Reincarnation appeared in this world. Everyone has the permission to enter the Tower of Reincarnation. As long as they can pass through each reincarnation world, they can gain extraordinary power, future technology, endless wealth, and a long lifespan. Legend has it that the first person to completely pass the Reincarnation Tower will take control of it. However, Jiang Xun, who had traveled through this world, found that the world of the Reincarnation Tower was filled with movies, games, novels, and anime that he was familiar with. Zombie World War, Dragon Quest, Ghost Blows Out the Light, World of Warcraft, Superseminarythese works from previous lives have all become reincarnation towers, one reincarnation world after another. This means that in Jiang Xun's view, the worlds that should have been inaccessible or had extremely low survival difficulties are no longer difficult. In the world of Zombie World War, while others were still struggling to survive, he had already begun to wield the weapons he had found and began to indiscriminately slaughter zombies. In the world of Kung Fu, when everyone was supporting the Axe Gang, Crocodile Gang, and even the army, only he chose the Pig Cage Fortress and was the first to find that old beggar. In the world of The Ghost of a Beautiful Girl, when the light of the Chinese master Buddha shone, everyone was eager to give their loyalty, but he invited Fahai from Jinshan Temple, more than 100 kilometers away. Bold demon, I can tell at a glance that you're not a human. Mighty heavenly dragon. Everyone is worshipping the god of Reincarnation Tower strategy, only he slowly lowers his head. I can't spend all the reincarnation points again, hey. Chapter 1. Tower of Reincarnation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The identity of the reincarnator has been confirmed, Mr. Jiang Xun. Welcome to the world of reincarnation, identity information locked. Do you want to enter your personal code? Enter the code, Xian Yuan 14. Jiang Xun said. Code locked successfully, code replaced, citizen of Blue Planet, Jiang Xun, codenamed Xian Yuan 14, gender. Male, age. 20, you will enter the world of reincarnation for the first time tonight at 12:00 sharp. Please arrive at the Tower of Reincarnation early to avoid missing the opportunity. Looking at the suddenly disappearing prompt screen, Jiang Xun still felt a bit unreal. But a black strap tattoo suddenly appeared on his wrist, telling him that all of this was true. Is it a reincarnation world? Jiang Xun muttered to himself, I woke up to an incredible place. A familiar memory emerged, which was the part of the explanation about the world that he inherited after coming to this world. Yes, Jiang Xun is a traveler. Before he woke up yesterday, he was still an earthling, but when he woke up, he became another person with the same name and surname in the same rental house on a blue planet. The owner of this body, I don't know if they have exchanged souls with themselves. Jiang Xun thought inexplicably, then he lifted his head and looked out the window at the horizon, where a towering figure stood in the sky. That's the Tower of Reincarnation. 20 years ago, the Tower of Reincarnation fell from the sky and changed everything in this world. The Tower of Reincarnation is an adventure where everyone can participate in a life gamble. As long as you pass the detection of the Tower of Reincarnation, you can become a reincarnator. Everyone has the permission to enter the Tower of Reincarnation. As long as they can pass through each reincarnation world, they can gain extraordinary power, future technology, endless wealth, and a long lifespan. So the world landscape suddenly changed, and the high-level officials of various countries quickly shuffled. Those who gained power in the reincarnation world also gained their own status in reality. During that period, it may have been the craziest time on the entire planet, with private teams rising and chaos rampant. Fortunately, the official reincarnators of the country took strong action to suppress the strong in opposition, established the Treaty of Reincarnation, and established a strong social order, gradually transforming the world into the familiar image in Jiang Xun's eyes. But the Tower of Reincarnation is still unrelated to order. After all, the official in reality can only manage the real world. As for the world of the Tower of Reincarnation, it relies on individual strength, so the jungle law is the highest law in this tower. As long as you have power, you have everything. However, Jiang Xun did not have any fear at all, because based on his collection of information about these worlds online during this period, he was pleasantly surprised to find that these so-called reincarnation worlds were actually the movies, games, novels, and animations he had encountered in his previous life. Resident Evil, Dragon Quest, Ghost Blows Out the Light, World of Warcraft, SuperseminaryThese, these familiar names and almost identical photos all made him aware of the composition of this Tower of Reincarnation. But on this blue planet, these works have never appeared before. That is to say, even though the Tower of Reincarnation has appeared in this world for 20 years, these people still have no way to start in most of the world. They may be able to infer some information about these worlds through their keen observation and strong self-abilities, but they are completely unaware of the location of various treasures, the personalities of the strong, the essence of these worlds, and their future development. But Jiang Xun knows these things very well, because in his past life, he was a blogger who relied on these things to make a living. Games, novels, anime, movies. He relied on analyzing and explaining videos of these things to have a meal in the era of the internet, and now these things have all become his profound memories. In the original world, these understandings and analyses had no effect other than being able to be made into videos for the audience to enjoy. But in this world, it is a wealth that is almost like pouring into the sky. He is now a true strategy god. As long as he can go to those worlds, the plot and ending that others cannot get through are clearly visible to him. As long as these worlds are generally aligned with the plots I know. The excitement in Jiang Xun's eyes was already unbearable. If it weren't for entering the world of reincarnation at night, he might have rushed in now. Since there is still time, let's go eat something first and embark on our first reincarnation world in the most perfect state. Jiang Xun went out to find a restaurant. Even in this era, most ordinary people are still living their own lives. After all, although the Tower of Reincarnation is good, if they die inside, they will really die. So he can still find many fast food restaurants and small supermarkets in the community. His body used to work in this community, and his lack of fighting spirit in poverty and contentment formed a very sharp contrast with the magnificent reincarnation community in the distance. In the future, my achievements will not be limited to this. Jiang Xun looked at the villas and tall buildings in the distance and swore to himself. The original owner still had a lot of money on him, and he didn't feel uncomfortable with his stomach. He ordered 2 jianghu dishes and flipped through his phone while eating. The technology in this world is extremely advanced. In the second year of the arrival of the Tower of Reincarnation, some people have already brought back some things that belong to future technology, so they have also used smartphones for a long time. And the leading news is about the reincarnators. Our country's A.level reincarnation wind master defeated the beautiful country's A.level reincarnation angel in the Pacific Ocean. Retrieve 6 small islands in the east of our country. Chrysanthemum Company Udazue successfully advanced to A.level reincarnation and took on the 4-star company Li Xinglong, cutting off the other party's desire to intervene in the gathering area of the southern Reincarnation Tower. Jiang Xun looked at the magic on his face. With the help of the Tower of Reincarnation, is even commercial warfare in this way? What about Boss Lei? Is it possible that he is also striving to cultivate and then fiercely beating the far ahead? This familiar yet unfamiliar experience made Jiang Xun feel a bit of fun. If he could climb to a higher position, would he still be able to be in the same class as these seemingly powerful individuals, and even do 2 business deals with them? Jiang Xun returned home and waited for the arrival of time. Soon, at 9 p.m., the first prompt had arrived. The Tower of Reincarnation has been opened. You can enter the Tower of Reincarnation in advance and wait for the call of the world of reincarnation. Jiang Xun felt a sharp pain from the tattoo on the watch strap on his wrist, so he gently touched it and disappeared into the rental room. Chapter 2. Choosing the First World. You are listening at novelfull.audio. A ray of light flashed through, and Jiang Xun appeared on an incredibly vast platform, surrounded by dozens of incredibly large blue portals. According to the collected information, Jiang Xun knew that this was the first-level platform of the Reincarnation Tower, and those portals were the doors to the world of reincarnation on the first level. At this point, many people have already appeared on the entire platform, and with the flicker of light, their number is constantly increasing. These are all reincarnators from all over the world who gather on the first floor of the Reincarnation Tower, with the same purpose as Jiang Xun, to participate in the trials of the reincarnation world, in order to improve their level of reincarnation and strengthen their own strength. It is said to be the Tower of Reincarnation, but in reality, this tall tower does not show any characteristics of a tower, but rather an incredibly vast world. People refer to this place as the platform layer, and of course, some people also refer to it as a safe zone. Due to the protection of the Tower of Reincarnation rules, this place really feels like a safe zone. Formal reincarnators will have a safe house here as their lounge and storage point for supplies. As for the size and location of the house, it naturally depends on how many reincarnation points you have. Just as Jiang Xun was observing his surroundings, a noisy voice also came to his ears. New World Strategy, the latest layer of Reincarnation World Super Mario Bros., brought by experienced reincarnators with new news, only requires 5,000 reincarnation points to take home. The latest technology product strengthens the potion. Taking one bite increases personal attributes by 50%. With just one bite, you can increase the chances of winning in the reincarnation world. What are you waiting for? An iron sword from the second world, with a mysterious legend, can be taken home with 20,000 reincarnation points. This platform seems to be seen as a huge market, with many people selling here, making it a mix of good and bad, but Jiang Xun didn't believe any of them. According to online sources, the reason these so-called products were opened here is to deceive some reincarnators who have just arrived in this world, making them think that these things are particularly cheap and make a lot of money. This is basically no different from small shops in various scenic spots. Anyway, it's only sold once. If you fall for it, it's just that you don't have the eye to see it. It's impossible that they have a problem. He walked through the crowd and arrived at a secluded place with relatively few people, then pressed the tattoo on his wrist and opened his attribute panel. Player. Xian Yuan 14, Jiang Xun, location. First floor of the Reincarnation Tower. Physical fitness. 10 spirit. 10 power. 8 agility. 12 ability. None item. None physical condition. Skin cancer, spreading, number of reincarnation points. 30-21 strength evaluation. F. Ordinary person. His predecessor also came to this world a few times, but there were not many chances of success. These reincarnation points were all accumulated through regular work. In this world, reincarnation points have completely replaced money and become a universal currency circulating around the world, and since Jiang Xuanji broke through the Tower of Reincarnation, he has also run out of money. His reincarnation point is only enough to pay a month's rent, and if there is no income, he will be wandering the streets. Moreover, he still has the problem of cancer, and of course, there is a way to cure cancer in this world. However, his predecessor did not have money, so the other party would choose to gamble in the Tower of Reincarnation for 2 rounds. However, it seems that before Jiang Xun passed away, the other party did not succeed. I will succeed. Jiang Xun said to himself. Is this the first floor? It's so beautiful, I don't know what kind of scenery the second floor will look like. Jiang Xun's ear was filled with amazement from the same newcomer. You can shut up, afraid that others won't know you're here for the first time. It's easy to deceive, right? A person who seemed to be his brother grabbed him hard, making him lose the intention to continue speaking. However, the young man seemed a bit silly. After a while, he suddenly said, "Brother, how can I get to the second floor?" Second floor. If 3 worlds on the first floor receive an A. level rating, or 10 worlds receive a B. Level rating, then you can go. Isn't that to say, it will take at least 3 months to go to the second floor? 3 months. It's not necessarily 3 years. You think it's so easy to get A. Level and B. Level evaluations, right? There's no such thing as a simple world like family with children, where you need to become the leader of a region or the richest person in a city in a short period of time. Do you still think it's easy to get a B rating now that all these conditions have been met? So difficult, how do we choose? Brother, I have a strategy. Those who truly have dreams will not choose this modern safe world. Instead, they will choose some ordinary level worlds, such as Huang Feihong and Yiwen, to achieve extremely high clearance evaluations, or become the leader in special underworld worlds like Heroic Nature and Infernal Affairs. Only in such worlds can they achieve A. Level evaluations. Upon hearing their words, Jiang Xun was slightly taken aback. Originally, there was still an upper limit to the evaluation level obtained by different worlds. So if you choose a safe world for your own safety, the rewards and evaluations you receive will decrease, and the speed of becoming stronger will also slow down. Is that what you mean? He could also hear that the world level of underworld novels is special due to the participation of various forces, while the levels of urban dramas are mostly beginners. Next, there is a death risk world, such as low-level martial arts worlds like Huang Feihong in Yiwen, where the level is universal. Novice, ordinary, and elite are all levels of the world, and the difficulty and tasks involved in entering them vary depending on the level. He was no longer in a hurry to find the teleportation gate, but instead listened to more news in his place. After all, it was a one-story Tower of Reincarnation, and various messages were not very valuable. Many things could be heard. The number of levels in the Tower of Reincarnation was just pieced together by Jiang Xun from the mouths of these people. The original level of reincarnators had to wait for a month each time they participated in the world of reincarnation. The monthly challenge of the world of reincarnation allowed them to obtain some reincarnation points, world evaluations, attribute rewards, and the rarest special abilities or items. Only these rewards and props are things that can enhance their combat effectiveness, and they are also things that many people dream of. The only way to go from the first floor of the Tower of Reincarnation to the second floor is to have a world evaluation of this first floor world, which is a hard standard that everyone must meet. The game world requires high ratings for completing levels, the underworld requires becoming a boss or police officer, and the urban world requires becoming a human. Jiang Xun quickly determined the world he wanted to go to. If he wanted to quickly become stronger and receive enough reviews, he needed to choose a world he was very familiar with and not very difficult. So he ran to the blue portals to browse the worlds he could choose from. Resident Evil, Speed and Passion, Crazy Stone, Tomato Rich Man, Dragon Horse Spirit, Police Story, it really covers everything, and you can find any kind of work inside. This is also the final warmth of the Tower of Reincarnation. Death in the world of reincarnation is also true death. If you are afraid of death, you can choose those slightly safer worlds, and then accumulate 10 B. Level evaluations before choosing to go to the second level. Alternatively, choose those war-torn or crisis-ridden worlds to fight for the front line of vitality. But Jiang Xun didn't choose anything because he wanted everything for safety, benefits, and evaluation. Chapter 3. In this world, I am invincible. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. End of the Tower of Reincarnation World Selection. The reincarnation world you have chosen is Zombie World War, World Level. E. Difficulty. Elite, Player Damage. Every time a player is killed, 10,000 reincarnation points are deducted. World Main Storyline. Kill over 100 zombies and survive for 7 days, failure penalty. If there are less than 100 zombies, 1,000 reincarnation points will be deducted for one less zombie. Number of participants. June 20th, additional reward. For every additional zombie killed, a reward of 10 reincarnation points will be given. Tip. After entering the world for 2 hours, the virus begins to spread. Have you entered the world of reincarnation? Standing in front of the huge blue light gate, Jiang Xun determined his own world, which was in the high-risk world of Zombie World War, on the first floor. His illness is truly like a fish in water in this world. The world on the first level can be chosen independently, but not on the second level. To reach the world on the second level, you need to complete a jump mission, which is random and cannot be chosen. Enter. Jiang Xun said, and in the next moment, he was transported to a place that seemed to be empty, surrounded by high-rise buildings and some residents walking on the streets, which seemed to be a big city. But the people around him couldn't see him, and there seemed to be a blank transparent barrier around his body, isolating them from the world. That is to say, before everyone arrives, this is also considered a simple preparation space. A reincarnation world of 20 people, but only 6 people participated. Jiang Xun thought of the data he had just seen. It seemed that in a first-tier world, not many people would choose the elite level with extremely high mortality rates. In the next moment, he saw 5 people coming to him at the same time. It seemed that they should have entered this world together. At the moment they arrived here, 5 people looked at Jiang Xun at the same time. The leader was a young man who stared at Jiang Xun and said, "I didn't expect that in the beginner task, someone would come to the world of elite difficulty. Are you also a strategist?" Jiang Xun shook his head and said, "I'm not, I just think this world is very interesting." Interesting. Ha ha ha. The man smiled and said, "That's really interesting. This world has only appeared for 3 months, and during these 3 months, the mortality rate of this world is 93%. Many people die within the 3rd hour of entering. Do you think it's interesting?" Jiang Xun remained noncommittal and didn't mean to be very close to them. "I naturally have my way." Then, behind the young man, a middle-aged man in formal attire walked out and said, "Sorry young man, my nephew is a bit aggressive in his speech. Don't mind. We are a team, and we bought a strategy for a large sum of money to enter this world and complete the initial trial. I wonder if you would like to join us. We guarantee your safety, and after the trial is over, just give us your reward. What do you think?" The young man looked at Jiang Xun with a sneer and said, "You don't know the terror of the world you choose, do you? In 2 hours, the virus will spread, and those people on the street will turn into terrifying zombies, eating you directly. Yes, little brother. It's worth it to exchange all the profits from a trial for a life and a successful trial, and perhaps even a B-level evaluation," the middle-aged man continued enthusiastically. The two of them, one with a white face and the other with a red face, seemed quite in sync. "No wonder you came to this world, there are actually strategies." Jiang Xun suddenly realized it, but he still didn't care much. Even if they had a strategy, what could they do? He is the man who holds the ending. After all, this world has only been open for 3 months, and the real solution that appears in movies must be half a month or even a month later. Of course, these people will not know the true solution to this world. So he just shook his head slightly and said, "No need, I still have confidence to live in this world." As soon as he finished speaking, the barrier in front of him was opened, and Jiang Xun followed the crowd and walked onto the street. This made the young man who wanted to recruit him very unhappy. "Ignorant guy, we spent 2 million reincarnation points to buy a special strategy. Without a strategy, we dare to come to this world. Isn't it seeking death?" The middle-aged man shook his head slightly and said, "Unfortunately, such a young person is going to die in this world. They have a good understanding of this world, so they also know the inside story. In the impending apocalyptic zombie crisis, people like them who suddenly join this world have no chance of survival." So in their eyes, Jiang Xun was already a dead person. The 5 people no longer thought about the dead man matter, but gathered together and advanced towards the place where their strategy was located. Quickly moving away from these people, and on a distant highland, Jiang Xun breathed a sigh of relief when he saw 5 people only stopping for a while before leaving. These people have no other plans for themselves, and Jiang Xun doesn't want to have any contact with them. The reason why he chose this world that others see as extremely dangerous is because he is familiar with it. Zombie World War, also known as Doomsday War, is an apocalyptic zombie movie starring Brad Pitt. It tells the story of a sudden zombie virus that spreads through bodily fluids. As long as bitten in just 11 seconds, it can invade and become a zombie. This virus is extremely aggressive, and there is no possibility of revival after infection, and the changes it brings are also extremely terrifying. If the zombies in other zombie movies are slow-paced old men, then the zombies in this world are all bolt, top sprint champions, extremely fast and tireless, allowing the zombie virus to sweep across the world in a very short time. That middle-aged man was not wrong. If there were no strategies, ordinary people would come to this world. As soon as the zombie virus broke out, their bodies would be like a delicious piece of meat, attracting the attention of all zombies. But the task requires them to survive in this world for 7 days, which makes it even more difficult for them to survive. No wonder even a team of 20 people cannot gather together. However, no one will know the hidden rules of this world. This zombie virus is called Saranan, and is a special type of virus. Once it is occupied, organisms will immediately die and become carriers of the virus. Every person bitten will become a carrier of the virus, no longer requiring water and food intake, but relying entirely on the virus to survive. They bite people also because of their instinct to spread viruses. However, the virus will not parasitize organisms that have already developed serious diseases, as it needs to ensure the host's health in order to continue spreading the virus to the maximum extent possible. So those who have fallen seriously ill are not the hosts of the virus, they will not be actively attacked by zombies. And Jiang Xun, as known from previous system tests, had severe skin cancer, which was the real reason why his former host died in bed. He happens to be the life form that the Solana virus cannot avoid. In other words, in this world, he is invincible. Chapter 4. Your strategy is not right. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Jiang Xun found himself a relatively safe place and prepared to wait quietly for the crisis in this world to come. Zombies do not bite people who are sick, but rather do not actively attack, which is important. Just like when you see a mangy dog, you will never take the initiative to hit it, but if this dog bites you, you will still be counterattacked by the other person. This is a biological instinct. But the plot of the movie tells him that if you can chop up this zombie with just one knife, it won't fight back. After all, the virus has no consciousness and cannot transmit the perception of this zombie to other zombies. So unless you can't kill the zombie all at once, he's still safe. However, the efficiency of killing zombies in this way is definitely not high. Jiang Xun has come here and must have his own ideas. For example, according to the rules of the Reincarnation Tower, every time he kills a zombie, he gains 10 reincarnation points. If he kills hundreds of thousands of zombies, he will have millions of reincarnation points. The point of reincarnation is in the real world, but it's money that can be used directly. But if he wants to kill many zombies, he needs some meticulous planning and necessary means, such as firearms and fuel. These things are certainly not easy to deal with now, but soon it will be time for the end of the world. At that time, he only needs to wait for the time when there are only zombies left on the street to go out. At that time, the entire city was his material field, and as long as he wanted, he could even become the only enjoyment in the apocalypse. Jiang Xun stood opposite a police station, on top of an office building, waiting for the end of the day judgment. There are many people here, but it's not a chaotic neighborhood, nor is it a security company. There shouldn't be many guns, and it should be very safe when the end comes. This is very important. If he wasn't killed by a zombie and ended up being shot to death by a stray bullet, that would be really funny. Just as Jiang Xun was pondering how to proceed with his next plan, the other 5 reincarnations had already followed their strategy, traversing the city and trekking a long distance to reach a villa. The young man said, according to the guide, we need to stay in the underground base of this villa for 6 days, and then come out on the 7th day, each person killing 100 zombies to complete the mission. The guide also specifically states that zombies in this world are extremely dangerous, and even some E-level senior reincarnators have a record of failing in this world, so we need to be extremely careful. The good news is that we can stay in a closed space throughout the entire process, and this base is absolutely safe. In the future, we will also have an armored vehicle to move on. Listen to me, we will not be in any danger. The middle-aged man nodded and said, then let's move. Since this world is extremely dangerous, we can stay indoors and try to follow the strategy as much as possible. Among them, there was a woman wearing glasses who looked like she was only 17 or 18 years old. So, as long as we stay here, there won't be anything wrong, she said. Of course, the young man was quite confident. This is a top-level strategy bought from 2 million reincarnation points. As long as we do everything mentioned above, all 5 of us can complete the trial. Then, under the guidance of the strategy, they smoothly entered the villa and opened the underground base here. It was said to be the base, but in reality, it was a small apocalyptic shelter, only about 10 square meters in size. This disappointed them a bit, and the woman wearing glasses bluntly said, we're going to stay in such a small place for 6 days. This is too scary. As modern people, whenever they think of such things, they feel a chill all over them. This small place is a bit too cramped, even the toilet is directly placed in the lobby. If it weren't for the 50-centimeter thick steel gate reminding them that this is really an underground base, they would have thought it was some otaku's private nest. After all, the walls full of salty comics and CDs are all telling them about the original planned use of this place, but the loud noise above their heads gradually reminds them of the dangers of this world. So, 5 people quietly closed the steel gate and looked around through a camera in this shelter to see the situation. Then, the frantically running zombies, the humans who briefly twitched and suddenly got up after being bitten, and the entire street, the group of frantically running zombies, the humans who couldn't escape the current situation, like a human purgatory, appeared before their eyes like this. At this moment, no one would think that Jiang Xun could survive, but rather grateful for the strategy he bought. The initial trial was so difficult, which was completely different from what they had imagined. They are just worried about their future. These zombies look so terrifying. Can they really successfully complete the trial and return to the blue planet in 7 days? But on the other end of the city far away from them, Jiang Xun waited for everyone's mutation to end before slowly walking out of his hiding toilet. Just now he heard the terrifying and violent explosion, terrifying roars, and chaotic footsteps outside. He didn't rashly go out, but continued to wait for time to pass. After a long period of time, it was not until all the external sounds had disappeared that Jiang Xun walked out of his hiding place and began to observe the situation around him. He is now located on the 12th floor of this office building and can clearly see the situation downstairs. At this point, the most dangerous time has passed, and the zombies have completely devoured the city. Those who were not bitten have also driven away from here. Now is the time for him to appear. Jiang Xun slowly poked his head out from behind the door. Although he was fully prepared, the tragedy in front of him still couldn't let him go. Blood and corpses intertwined on the ground, forming a terrifying painting of hell. Zombies stood quietly in the corridor until they stood up, gradually turning their heads. They seemed to sense the scent of Jiang Xun and slowly walked towards him. These zombies surrounded him, sniffing him with their teeth and claws open, and then emitting a special cluck sound, as if searching for the human scent on him. However, after a long time, they didn't move and chose to bypass him and go to the toilet. Jiang Xun was like this, his legs trembling slightly as he walked through the zombie swarm, just like the scenes he saw in the movie. The zombies would not attack him because the virus was not interested in his body, which was filled with diseases. Even to ensure their own purity, viral organisms. i.e. zombies. Will actively avoid them and move towards other places. But nervousness was inevitable, so he had to slowly test it. This made Jiang Xun's courage even greater. He walked slowly towards the stairs, and all the zombies along the way noticed him and showed their attention, but not a single one rushed towards him. Then, he saw a fire axe that had just been taken out, held in the hand of a zombie. This is a sturdy repairman zombie. Before his death, he seemed to want to use a fire axe to resist, but it seems that he was not successful. Jiang Xun walked forward, took the fire axe from his hand, and then pointed it at his head with a sharp axe. Roar! This zombie let out an astonishing roar, but the other zombies didn't even glance at him. Kill a zombie, current task progress. 1 out of 100, Jiang Xun's smile on his face couldn't hold back any longer, and he laughed recklessly. Ha ha ha. I can also be considered, I've made it through. Who knows how much pressure he has endured in these few short hours, but at least he has succeeded. The zombies heard the laughter and turned their heads with a fierce expression, sensing Jiang Xun's position. Then, amidst a series of disgusted pheromones, they turned their heads and actively moved away from him. In the eyes of these zombie viruses, he is no different from the plague. A few hours later. How boring. The other 5 samsaras were still hiding in the shelter, waiting for the time to pass. Someone roast about this, but the other 4 glared at them. Bored, why don't you go out and kill zombies? The glasses woman scolded him. That's all I said. The person shut up in a casual tone, and then a hint from the Tower of Reincarnation echoed in their ears. Shenyuan 14, the Reincarnator, completes the world's main storyline first and receives additional rewards, with a reincarnation point of 10,000, sleeping slot. The young man who was still mocking Jiang Xun couldn't help but say, he hasn't died yet, and has completed the main storyline. He also received extra rewards. Ah! How did he do it? The glasses woman began to doubt. He-chi, are you sure you bought the best strategy? It's not someone else who picked the rest. Why can't we just wait here? They have already completed the task by this time. How do I know? The strategy one bought was already made by the best strategy team on the market. It took 7 people to figure out the laws of this world. Is there a stronger reincarnation world organization on this level than the Blade strategy team? I don't believe it. Don't you believe it? How do you explain Shenyuan 14? It can't be because he is the biological son of the reincarnation world, so I gave him a free guide, right? The atmosphere in the shelter has become somewhat strange. Chapter 5. Nothing, everything is planned. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It's okay, how about he get those points? I'm someone who has strategies, as long as I take action. He-chi was still stubborn. We'll come out in 6 days. As long as we come to that special place and complete the mission, even if we kill tens of thousands of zombies, it won't be difficult to earn back the money from buying strategies. We not only have complete defense and enough food to eat here, but also an armored vehicle that can take us out. There are still a considerable number of weapons on the car. This is our best base. As for this Shenyuan 14. Let's talk about it after he can live for 6 days. He should have just hit a place that the zombies couldn't reach, and then slowly killed the zombies. After all, it has been some time since the crisis occurred. The middle-aged man guessed. Can we, like him, put some zombies in so that we can complete the task faster? But the guide says, you can't be found by zombies. This is a fortification that can defend against missiles, and even those zombies cannot be pierced, said the glasses woman. He-chi certainly disagrees, but the other few people clearly have a sense of movement in their eyes. Of course they guessed incorrectly. In fact, these over 100 zombies were just cut off by Jiang Xun when he came down from upstairs and encountered a zombie blocking the way. I haven't continued chopping now because he's tired of chopping and his hands are a bit sore. Sure enough, not everyone can use Mao Zi's method. For Jiang Xun, if he wants to obtain the reincarnation point on a large scale, he needs to think of other ways. He arrived at a 24-hour supermarket below this office building and casually picked up some food and water. In order to prevent accidental ingestion and infection with the zombie virus, he did not take the open food, but chose a sealed sandwich. Who knows how long the liquid spreads? He doesn't want to make such a dangerous attempt, so he's not planning to go to those restaurants. TSK. How sweet. Jiang Xun threw away his sandwich and found a domestically made bread to nibble on. While restoring his physical function, he was also thinking about his next path. Beside him, two zombies were swaying around casually, until Jiang Xun threw the happy water can into the trash can. They then turned their heads and crossed Jiang Xun's path towards the trash can. Seeing this scene, Jiang Xun immediately understood. The sound can attract these zombies, which seems to be the real reason why the Israeli high wall was breached in the original work. These zombies, without their own mission to spread the virus, did not even have the action of eating. This is also why almost all zombies in the movie are physically intact. They prefer to stay in place, waiting for a sound to wake them up or for new ways of transmission to emerge. And this happens to enable Jiang Xun to implement his plan. There were not many living creatures in the entire New York City now, and in his ears, only a few distant places could hear sporadic gunshots. Besides, the surroundings can even be said to be silent. Jiang Xun swam down the street like this, and all the zombies scattered towards both sides when they saw him, revealing his destination. The police station located across the street. Although zombies won't attack him, Jiang Xun still needs to arm himself to avoid accidents. And the weapons in this place are also very good weapons for brushing points. An hour later, Jiang Xun drove an explosion-proof car slowly out of the police station, containing all the weapons and equipment he could find in the station. During this process, he also used the two handguns he had just found to blast the heads of many zombies. Glock 17 is really not good, he can't even blow his head. After trying it twice, Jiang Xun found that the police riot shotgun was his good companion, with each shot earning points. Although the blood spray of killing slowed him down for a while, the points and reincarnation points brought by killing zombies really made him unable to stop. In the Tower of Reincarnation, the role of the reincarnation point can be said to be almost omnipotent. 10,000 reincarnation points can cure most diseases, and 1 million can even allow a strategy team to take him through a normal level of reincarnation world. Therefore, Jiang Xun did not hesitate and continued to search for things that could maximize the killing of zombies. He was wearing a police bulletproof vest and driving an explosion-proof car, struggling to navigate through the city. The streets are now filled with damaged vehicles, congested road traffic, and zombies wandering around. Jiang Xun had no choice but to park his car on the roadside and search for what he wanted in one block after another. As he walked, the number of zombies also increased. At the moment they saw Jiang Xun, they wanted to rush over, but as they approached Jiang Xun, they scattered like water, looking from afar as if he was the king of zombies. Such a scene was naturally seen by the survivors in the tall buildings, who eagerly poked their heads out to see why the person was okay, but it abruptly came to an end after a blonde girl let out a scream. Jiang Xun also looked at the screams, and saw that countless zombies had rushed to the man's downstairs, and then quickly piled up our hut until he climbed to the floor and burst into the window. The sound of calling for help just now came to an abrupt end. This is the type of terrifying zombies in World War Zombie, unique to this world. They have a running speed far exceeding that of ordinary people, pheromones for global pursuit of enemies, and a keen hearing that can hear all sounds. Ordinary people in this world, let alone live for 7 days, even if they only live for an hour, are considered lucky. But at this moment, seeing these zombies piled up in mountains and even climbing upstairs, Jiang Xun looked at the nearby gas station and suddenly had a great idea. Quickly, he pushed all the cars on the road aside with an explosion-proof car, leaving a path from the gas station to the downstairs building. Then, he drove a tanker truck out of the gas station and all the way to the downstairs building where many zombies had gathered. Then Jiang Xun opened the spray gun of the oil tanker, stood on the bus, facing the zombie Arhat Tower, in the distance, and sprayed violently. The terrifying gasoline poured on the zombies, but they didn't react much and continued to climb stubbornly. It seems that this building has a great attraction for them. When these zombies had already been oiled, Jiang Xun turned on its autonomous driving and slowly jumped out of the car, running towards the nearby building without hesitation. The oil tanker truck rushed towards the zombie swarm, and in a series of collisions, it hit the bottom of the zombie tower. In the nearby building, Jiang Xun saw this scene and immediately took out the rifle he was carrying and fired at the oil tanker truck. Boom! Flames accompanied by terrifying explosions swept through the bottom of this building. The terrifying explosion even reached this underground shelter, making them more determined in their choices. Fortunately, we have a strategy in place. Otherwise, no one could have survived in this situation. The woman with glasses sighed, and the others nodded one after another. Yeah, we need a strategy to survive, otherwise we'll become those zombies too. Suddenly, a person said leisurely, "Is EP1-10 still scoring points?" With this sentence, the cramped and murky shelter suddenly quieted down. It's okay, everything is planned. He's not moving much now, he must be dead. He said confidently, just these zombies, every sound is a big wave rushing towards him. How could he survive? Before he could finish speaking, the sound of the Tower of Reincarnation's warning rang again. Reincarnator EP1-10, complete the hidden task, kill 10,000 zombies, and obtain the hidden item, Sora Difficulty Enhancement Potion. True, Mengxin is here again. Seeking votes and pursuing reading. What should I do if I brush my scores too slowly in Chapter 6? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ah. We're eating compressed food here, feeling nervous. He has already found hidden items. The sound of another announcement seemed to sting their hearts. The depression and dissatisfaction in the hearts of the 5 people have become increasingly strong, and they are starting to think about a question. Is this world really not that dangerous? After all, that young man looked thin and didn't show any strong strength, and he didn't carry any props from the first floor. He couldn't have those spatial equipment from the 3rd floor or above of the Reincarnation Tower, could he? That's a bit outrageous. That person looks yellow and skinny, and at first glance, they are people from ordinary urban areas or even slums. Where did they get these things? How could a person with such equipment possibly come to such a dangerous world alone? So there's only one answer left in everyone's hearts, isn't strategy a bit unreliable? The world is not as dangerous as mentioned above. Although they were initially scared by the apocalyptic scene, now EP1-10, who is outside scoring, has given them a lot of courage. Let's try putting 2 zombies into the villa and then give it a try. The middle-aged man couldn't help but suggest. He shook his head and said, "Believe in our strategy, it's from the Blade Group's strategy, they won't make such mistakes." Upon hearing his insistence, the remaining 4 had no choice but to give up. Time is still long, the zombie is far more dangerous than imagined. Let's see his future. Sora Difficult Enhancement Potion, True, Level. E-World. Zombie Wars Introduction. The improved version of the Saranin virus enhanced polymer from the Zombie World War world can obtain physical abilities equivalent to Saranin vectors, and is a type of physical enhancer. Jiang Xun's face showed a clear expression of joy as he carefully tucked the spiral syringe, similar to the one in Resident Evil, into his backpack. This is a special prop with the word, true, which can be brought from the Tower of Reincarnation to the real world. In the Reincarnation Tower rule, there are 3 different types of props, namely virtual props, reincarnation world props, and real world props. Virtual props refer to props that can only be used in the Tower of Reincarnation, mainly for decoration and daily life in the Tower of Reincarnation, and cannot be brought into the real and reincarnation world. The reincarnation world prop, as the name suggests, is a prop that can be used in the Reincarnation Tower and the reincarnation world, and can be effective. Finally, there are real-world props that can be brought into the real world and truly used to strengthen oneself. There are also various props that are fought for at all costs, and many people can even spend a lot of money for such props. However, Jiang Xun would not use it at this time. After all, using it now is considered a reincarnation world item, and there will be no bonus in reality. The best use of this thing is still as a reinforcement item for reality. Whether it is for sale or personal use, it is a good choice. Having the same physique as zombies in this world, this is a significant increase, because the zombies in this world have extremely excellent sprinting ability, strong physical resistance, and excellent jumping ability. Humans can even be called superhumans after acquiring such abilities. He regained his senses from the joy he had just harvested and ate some food that had been looted from the supermarket. By this time, it was already the morning of the next day. He sat on the top of an empty building, using his sniper rifle to aim at the zombies downstairs. This sniper rifle, of course, is also one of the receipts in the police station, seemingly due to the presence of zombies. Before the end of the day, the police officers at the police station opened the weapons depot. Perhaps due to the speed of the zombies, these chubby American police officers were surrounded by them before they could use these weapons. When Jiang Xun obtained these weapons, many zombies wearing police uniforms were wandering in that area. No way, when will we be able to gather 100,000 zombies like this? Looking at the zombies that burned into a pile yesterday, Jiang Xun felt a headache. Yesterday, there were still many humans in this building, so the zombies would climb up. He just needed to light the zombies below, and the flames would spread towards the other zombies. This is also why he was able to kill 10,000 zombies. But now, the whole city is silent and the drivers, those zombies, don't react so strongly to other sounds. What should we do? He even wanted to maliciously capture people to use as bait for himself, but he also felt that it was not very practical. After all, he was just an ordinary person. If someone shot him, he would really die, which is not very cost-effective. This world is not a safe world and there is no resurrection mechanism, so he cannot risk his own life. So all that remained was the tedious way of scoring. Jiang Xun looked at the bottom of the building under his feet, a shop with gun patterns printed on it, and broke in like this. In this firearms store, which had hardly changed and only had its doors open, he killed 2 zombies hiding in the back room that couldn't come out, and then found a large number of bullets and a well-maintained multi-barrel revolver in the store. In many domestic games, players generally refer to it as Gatling. Jiang Xun's eyes lit up when he saw this machine gun. Didn't he keep thinking that the slow speed of killing zombies has made it difficult for the world's evaluation level to rise? Isn't this simple yet? Just replace it with a good gun, okay? He thought of the later stages of the movie, which attracted the zombies on the football field and the zombies on the building, with the biggest feature being the huge sound and ample passage space. Through this, he learned about the behavior of zombies. They would take a ladder and climb tall buildings in terrifying numbers when there was no way, but when there was a road, they would also follow the guidance of the road and go to the place they wanted to go. And this naturally became the key for Jiang Xun to score. The existence of a multi-barrel machine gun has made it possible for him to score infinitely in an area. As long as there are enough bullets and the barrel is not too hot, he can infinitely break his killing record in this world. He went back to drive his own explosion-proof car, and with the help of the size of the explosion-proof car, he pushed all the small cars on the street aside, leaving a very wide space for action. Then, he ran to the nearby mall and found some sound systems surrounded by some zombies. These things are the capital for Jiang Xun to brush points in the future. Even these zombies, Jiang Xun didn't let go. He moved the sound system to the car, then returned to the top floor of the building, turned on all the phones in his hand, started playing the music inside, and then threw all these phones away. As the sound sounded, the zombies who were still wandering in the mall gradually began to gather towards the lobby on the first floor. Then, Jiang Xun threw a bucket of gasoline and a grenade. Bang! He walked towards another building, and behind him, the roaring flames and the mournful cries of zombies intertwined, further pushing up his killing progress. Kill a zombie, current task progress. 10945/100, kill a zombie, current task progress. 10946/100. Chapter 7, Then Find Something Explosive. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Jiang Xun's journey of scoring is still ongoing. In the following day, he found many car oil tanks and many sound systems. After he moved all these things to their designated locations, it was already dark. But in his ear, the hint from the Tower of Reincarnation still lingers, persistently refreshing his kill record. Kill a zombie, current task progress. 11253/100, this is the killing brought by the flames he left behind in various shopping malls, but compared to the nearly 10,000 kills in yesterday's round, it is still a drop in the bucket. If Jiang Xun wants to reach the second level faster, he must try his best to improve his world evaluation, obtain higher rewards, and then have a better life. In this world, everyone's status can be fought for in this way, and compared to the almost desperate path he took in his past life, the feeling here is clearly better for him. Moreover, he has those special memories that resemble strategies, which is the reason why he firmly believes that he can always climb up. With such advantages, how could he be willing to stay at the bottom of the world? In order to better implement his plan, Jiang Xun used a rifle to clean up all the zombies on this street and push their bodies aside before starting to set up his own killing ground. Firstly, he connected all the speakers through a diesel generator, and then sprinkled the gasoline on both sides of the street. Next, Jiang Xun gently pressed the switch, and a loud noise attracted all the zombies in the area. They let out a strange cry of hee-hee, and rushed over from various places, starting to concentrate on the street. Quickly, this not small street was already blocked by a dense swarm of zombies, followed by a gradually cramped street and still loudly playing sound systems. Jiang Xun even found the most dazzling ethnic style tape in the Chinese supermarket, so the entire street was filled with a huge stay sound. The sky has completely darkened, but the darkness on the streets seems to be filled with endless fear, because those densely packed heads are just dead people, yet they are still alive under the influence of the virus. Alright. Jiang Xun finished his dinner. A ready-to-eat fast food that had been heated in the microwave. It must be said that the Chinese supermarket really helped him a lot, so he didn't have to eat hot dogs, sandwiches, or foods with extremely high fat and sugar. He clapped his hands and said, "Get ready to start." He is talking to himself, after all, this kind of solitary life is indeed a bit lonely and unbearable. Then, he activated the switch in his hand, the door was opened, and a multi-barrel machine gun was pushed out by him. Next to the machine gun, there are two unsealed buckets and a water pressure injector he is holding in his hand. The barrel of the multi-barrel machine gun will definitely heat up later, and then he can use water to cool it down and shoot a few more shots. As for how long the machine gun can last, it's not something he can care about. Jiang Xun thinks he has reached his limit and will think of new scoring methods in the next few days. Bang! A gunshot rang out like this, followed by a series of gunshots. On the streets where these zombies were most concentrated, bullets that could tear apart steel poured out from the gun shops on the street. Under the terrifying power of modern weapons, these zombies cannot even stand in front of the flames for a second. Their bodies have been torn apart, and the ones behind them are the ones who suffer. On this street, the originally densely packed zombies seem to have lost a portion in an instant, leaving only intense flames spewing out their flames in the air. Then Jiang Xun turned his extreme machine gun and the flames continued to sweep the streets, cutting off the zombies on the side. The increase in points this time was much higher than before. At this moment, Jiang Xun also felt the amazing heat next to his body, so he quickly poured cold water on it, bringing a burst of white water vapor. In the following period of time, the remaining zombies continued to fill the streets, and the sound of gunfire seemed to become louder at night. With the death of the zombies, the scenery of this block became even more beautiful. And as Jiang Xun's gunshots continued to resound, flames were finally ignited under the splashing bullets. Do you remember the gasoline he left around? Under the walking and pushing of these zombies, gasoline had already been carried to the entire street by them. Almost every zombie had already been coated with gasoline. Therefore, when the first Mars descended, their ultimate fate was already determined. Unexpectedly, this gun has not been scrapped yet. Listening to the constant reminders in his ear about the skyrocketing killing data, and looking at the flames that had already begun to spread, Jiang Xun didn't hesitate to turn around and leave. His car was parked behind the gun shop, which was another block, and he had to leave quickly because this place was completely out of place. Just as he left here for about 5 minutes, the entire block turned into a sea of flames. The zombies who were crazily in the flames came into contact with the first car on the street and carried the flames onto it. As the fuel tank of the car was ignited, the street, which was originally just a flame, began to rapidly disintegrate, and each car showed its original power. Bang! The first explosion was just a rehearsal, and the continuous sound of explosions followed was the beginning of destruction. The terrifying explosion began to resound throughout this area, attracting more zombies. At this moment, many survivors dared to quietly open the windows, watch the flames and sounds of the distant streets, listen to the distant footsteps, pray for the zombie monsters to stay away from themselves. Although this is just the reincarnation world of the reincarnators, it is also their apocalyptic world. In the underground shelter, 5 people have been staying in this small place of over 10 square meters for 2 days. To make matters worse, this house is too old and the sewage system has been blocked, so their excrement can only be piled up in the toilet. In this environment, the mentality of the 5 people can be imagined. It seems that each person has reached the limit they can tolerate, and some people are no longer willing to be like Hichi, being a shrinking turtle in this. Then, a new Reincarnation Tower prompt appeared again. Xianyuan 14, the Reincarnator, kills 20,000 zombies and achieves a special achievement of Zombie Killer, Real. Hichi, open the door, I want to go out, said a young man in a shirt. He was very annoyed when he saw Hichi holding the door. Hichi stared at him and said, Li Fei, it's very dangerous outside. Are you sure you want to go out? Dangerous. Hee. He's going crazy while brushing scores alone outside. Are you saying it's dangerous outside? Which of the 5 of us isn't stronger than that sick seedling? What do you think in your heart, can I not understand? Li Fei started to get angry and took out his gun directly from his pocket. I'll say it again, let me go. Hichi stared at him intently and said, okay. If you want to die, I won't stop you. He opened the door and watched as Li Fei went far away, but did not see any movement in the hearts of the people behind him. Shirt youth Li Fei naturally did not act rashly, but quietly walked into the villa, closed all doors and windows, turned on the villa lights, and lay down comfortably. Humph. A group of idiots, they can't live in such a big villa and must hide below to suffer, he said with hatred, I'll go brush points tomorrow. But why is it so lively there? Looking out the window at the huge red under the dark sky, he thought curiously. In that moment, in an invisible corner, a zombie slowly turned its head. Chapter 8. The world always has uneven differences. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The next morning, Jiang Xun woke up to the sound of some zombies knocking on the window. He looked at the other person's fierce face in a daze and suddenly smiled, Good morning, Mr. Zombie. The zombie in a suit looked at him as if he had seen something terrifying, and suddenly turned around and left, which made Jiang Xun's plea uninteresting. The ones he encountered the most in this world were zombies, but their disgust towards him was truly visible to the naked eye. However, Jiang Xun didn't care either. Instead, He opened the personal panel of the Reincarnation Tower on his wrist and saw the special task he completed while sleeping last night, which earned him rewards. Zombie Killer, Real. A special title that can cause additional damage to zombie life forms when worn, but also increased the attraction to zombies by 10 times. This title was voluntarily worn by oneself, and once worn, others who are also reincarnators can see it, but people in the reincarnation world naturally cannot see it. This is more like a game. Jiang Xun roast. Of course he won't use this title. Isn't it waiting for death in this world? However, if the environment is suitable, this may be a great prop that can be used in some special situations. For example, at certain critical moments of scoring. However, there are many zombies around him now, so it's better not to make such a desperate attempt. Jiang Xun completed his first scoring design last night and has a better idea for the next 5 days. Since there are still 5 days left, why not start a big one? Jiang Xun thought this way and then went to the car to rummage through his meals. Suddenly, he thought of 5 other people holding so-called strategies. 2 days had passed, and why did they suddenly have no news? Can't it be dead, right? He didn't think for too long, there was still a lot to do. Since he had made up his mind to score a lot, Jiang Xun wouldn't be idle. In the next few days, he would need to work for a long time. Although there are many zombies in New York, there are not many ways to attract them. A large number of zombies have chased the crowd to the outside of the city, and there are still many living people on this land, waiting to become carriers of the Solana virus. So there were still many zombies a few days ago, but now it seems that they have become quite sparse, which is not good news for Jiang Xun. He can only accelerate his movements as soon as possible and try to improve the efficiency of attracting zombies. Jiang Xun found a huge sports stadium, and due to the zombie crisis, there were almost no obstacles here. He could even park his explosion-proof car at the top of the stadium. In the middle of this stadium, there are also some audio equipment used to host Super Bowl events and special roads specially opened up for athletes to enter and exit. Now they have all become the support of Jiang Xun. If I could gather all the zombies here, he thought, this sports stadium that can accommodate tens of thousands of people, to the extreme, there should be no problem stuffing 100,000 zombies, right? Isn't this much faster than his previous efficiency in killing zombies? It just takes a long time to complete such a layout. In addition to being busy, Jiang Xun was also curious about the actions of these zombies. Even though there were no living people left, why were they still steadfastly walking towards the east? Is there anything there that attracts them, on the other side of the city, in the villa area? On the streets of the United States, tall buildings are reserved for social animals and civilians to live in, while wealthy people live in high-end communities with villas scattered throughout. With 24-hour police patrols and property that can be accessed at any time, it can be said to be a paradise for the rich. But in the apocalyptic era, this is hell. People in high-rise buildings can still avoid being discovered by those terrifying zombies through high-rise buildings and layers of protection, but in this villa area, the smell of people is just too prominent. The team where He is in is currently facing a situation like this. After leaving the villa last night, Li Fei did indeed have a very free and easy time, and even happily ran over to tell them that he had completed half of the main mission, and those zombies were like blind people who couldn't even notice him. This statement made many people in the room moved, and even everyone except He was thinking of going out at dawn to score together. That pale-faced young man can brush 20,000 zombies in 2 days. They should be conservative and brush 100,000 zombies in the remaining 5 days, isn't that excessive? You should know that they are not pure newcomers without anything. Those who can spend 2 million to buy strategies and complete missions in this world have some of their own reincarnation experience on the first floor of the Reincarnation Tower, and even become experienced reincarnators. What newcomers can do, they will definitely do better. If Jiang Xun were here, he would definitely say that they had thought too much, but these people never thought that before their scoring plan started, Li Fei had already rushed into the underground base with endless fear. Zombies. A lot of zombies, they are here. He grabbed He Chi's hand and said, "You brought us in. Help me. Help me." But He Chi looked at him with a very indifferent gaze and said, "I said it last night, you didn't listen, this is your own choice." He had already seen a tooth mark on the opponent's leg, and in the eyes of those who had read the strategy, they naturally knew what it meant. You carry the universal potion of the reincarnation world, so you can live for so long, but you're almost done, right? He took out a gun from his arms and pointed it at the other person's head. "I will tell your family about your ending." Bang! He Chi shot and killed Li Fei, just as the other party was already struggling and even gradually becoming zombies. Now, is there anyone else going out? He Chi scanned the remaining 3 people with his eyes, all of whom avoided their gaze with a guilty conscience. When Li Fei was showing off his killing records to them last night, they did have such thoughts, but now they no longer have them. Stay well, there are only 4 days left, time is running out. He Chi said, throwing Li Fei's body out, but the door was grabbed by a pale hand. That is a woman wearing nanny clothes. If nothing unexpected happens, she should be the nanny of this house, arranged to clean here, and then infected with the virus and became a zombie. Li Fei's previous arrogance came to an abrupt end, which should also be related to her. He Chi quickly gave her a kick and closed the door of the underground base, but unfortunately, everything was too late. Ah! A hissing roar came, and all 4 people's heads shook. In the distant surveillance footage, a female zombie roared towards this place from afar, followed by a massive swarm of corpses. Although the door was closed, a zombie's head hit the entrance of the underground base, creating a big hole on it. Of course, this was not a big deal, after all, the door is half a meter thick and not everything can be opened. But as more and more zombies piled up, the entire entrance to the villa was blocked by them, and the intentionally left ventilation openings were quickly filled. This situation really made the 4 of them turn pale. Damn Li Fei! You've caused us all so much trouble. Chapter 9. You fear it like a tiger, and I am as sweet as E. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Oh. I see it, my acquaintances. So there it is. Early the 6th morning, Jiang Xun stood up comfortably from the top floor of the Empire State Building, following the noisy zombie swarm, and saw the scene in the distant villa area. The rooftop of this building was already a famous attraction. After cleaning up the zombies here, it appeared extremely spacious, and he followed the sightseeing telescope designed on the top floor to see an extremely exciting scene in the villa area. Originally a team of 5 people, now there are only 3 people left, namely the young man who spoke a bit aggressively at the beginning, the middle-aged man who played a red face, and a young girl. Apart from that, there is no other figure left. Both the other man in a suit and the woman with glasses have disappeared. But around their bodies, in the villa area, they were already surrounded by endless zombies. These 3 people were like floating duckweed in the wind, standing on the top of the villa, resisting the impact of the zombie tide. These 3 people are indeed very fierce. Jiang Xun has seen many special props coming out of them, such as an ice wall that blocks zombies, a huge fireball, and a sword that cuts iron like mud. These are all props they carry. This made Jiang Xun even more grateful that he was running fast enough. If he was forcibly detained by them, he might not be able to carry out his own plan and might even be forced to ask his secrets, which of course was not allowed. As for now, he left this observation platform and slowly descended along the elevator. Good luck to you. These people may seem to have a lot of props, but their abilities are still within the realm of 1 level and not very outstanding. Being able to escape ascension should be a stroke of luck. Are you looking for trouble with them? Let's avoid those zombies first before we talk. Jiang Xun came to the first floor and looked at the zombies surrounding his car. He rudely pushed them away and sat in the driver's seat. The explosion-proof iron nails in front of the car played their role, directly crushing the zombies and allowing him to start scoring all the way. Kill a zombie, current task progress. 27781/100. The zombies killed by vehicles are also considered as mission progress, so if people who come to this world can ensure their safety, it is not difficult to complete the main world mission. However, survival is the reason why this world is classified as elite difficulty, so this assumption does not hold true. Jiang Xun was thinking about these things haphazardly in his mind, but it didn't hinder him from doing the final sorting work for his zombie destruction project on the 6th day. In order to attract enough zombies in this stadium, he spent 2 days making many renovations, such as the high walls piled up with vehicles. These walls turned the entire stadium into a human purgatory that could only enter but not exit, and provided a basis for his future actions. Simply attracting zombies is definitely not enough. It also requires being able to eliminate these zombies. In the movie, they are directly dropped bombs, and napalm bombs and cloud bombs are the best destinations for these zombies. But this is New York, and the nearest military base also needs to cross the entire city. Jiang Xun does not have this ability, let alone the means to control those large military facilities, so he can only use his own stupid methods. He decided to use fire. In order to truly achieve complete elimination, Jiang Xun evacuated 5 gas stations and used many oil tankers to fill this place with oil. In addition, he also emptied police stations and some large weapon stores and supermarkets in various districts. These people like to put weapons on supermarket shelves, which is convenient for Jiang Xun. He even found many different types of shoulder-mounted rocket launchers, which will be an important part of destroying zombies. And what he needs to do today is to connect wires in this sports stadium, so that those sounds can truly be transmitted to every part of the city, and install some explosives he found yesterday on the field as well. This place will become a true human purgatory in a day's time, and all he needs to do is enjoy this flame feast that belongs to him in this fire field. However, just as Jiang Xun finally completed his design and returned to his explosion-proof car, a car in the distance finally rushed in front of him. This car looks incredibly twisted, as if it has gone through countless battles, but it is very sturdy and there is no place for it to fall apart now. However, it could only rush to the nearest block to Jiang Xun and then slowly stop, as countless zombies filled the space between the two. Then, the young man he first met poked his head out of it. Jiang Xun was a bit surprised. He didn't expect to see these people still resisting zombies in the villa area in the morning, and already found himself in the afternoon. The speed is really not slow. At that moment, a special voice sounded in his ear, as if it was something the other party had done. He lowered his head and saw that the sound was coming from a police radio station beside him. Shenyuan 14, this is your name, right? We want to cooperate with you. Can you tell us how to operate in this city? We will help you kill these zombies. After the mission is over, we will give you all our rewards. How about that? The voice of the middle-aged man, still under the guise of cooperation, Jiang Xun refused directly, I don't need your assistance, you can leave now. These people just see that their stage has been set up and they can sing. If they want to come over and share a share of the pie, don't even think about it. Upon hearing Jiang Xun's answer, the other person's voice was clearly a bit irritable. You have no reason to refuse. You want to attract zombies here and kill them to get rewards, right? In fact, we have already discovered you through monitoring and exploring the city. This is a win-win situation. As long as you tell us your way of living in this city, we will work together. Otherwise. What else? Jiang Xun didn't believe in this evil. These people came here at a great cost, and they didn't come directly to him. Instead, they stopped there, indicating that they were extremely afraid of the zombie group in front of them. Compared to the number of zombies in the villa, this place is too terrifying. Otherwise, we'll destroy your defense and let you be swallowed by zombies. Don't doubt this, we can do it. Jiang Xun couldn't help but laugh. Is that all? Welcome. He decisively threw the radio station in his hand into the sports field below. He did design a platform on the top floor of this stadium to prevent those zombies from sleeping, but he thought destroying this platform would make him obedient. How could it be? I don't care about things that you fear like tigers. On the street across from him, the middle-aged man's face also darkened. I didn't expect the other person to be so ignorant that even good words were useless. Second uncle, what are you telling him about this? We'll take him down, and this venue and opportunity are still ours. He Chi said, his fierce aura and many wounds on his body. It seems that they have paid a considerable price to get rid of the zombies in the villa group. We don't have much left, the middle-aged man said, looking at the young lady with glasses. Xiaomei, how many more times do you have your fireball talisman? Xiaomei looked at the talisman in her hand and said, one more time, Dad. Facing that platform, use it. The middle-aged man said fiercely, we've lost a lot this time. We'll have to repay their loans when we go back. Why don't we make a profit? We can gather hundreds of thousands of zombies here, kill them, and then take this place for ourselves. Maybe we'll have a surplus when we go back. Okay. Xiaomei nodded and aimed a big fireball at the high platform where Jiang Xun was located. Bang! Jiang Xun was no longer on the high platform, but as the platform collapsed, the zombies outside also poured out. Chapter 10. End of scoring and completion announcement. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Good, good. Jiang Xun hid in the area below the sports stadium, watching this scene, his heart only filled with endless coldness. It was because he saw the opponent firing fireballs on the rooftop that he hid here. As expected, these people couldn't hold back and wanted to kill him. If it weren't for his anticipation, just that fireball would have been enough to give him a fatal blow. Moreover, the other party's reaction was particularly obvious. As their mouth was opened, the pouring zombies were deadly to anyone. Except for Jiang Xun. He watched indifferently as the zombies walked past his feet, scattered in the stadium, and looked at the specially designed armored vehicle waiting there, seemingly waiting for news of his death, already having his own thoughts. You all have started the first year of junior high school, so don't blame me for doing the 15th. Jiang Xun quickly flipped down from this area and, with several zombies serving as a springboard, arrived at the area where he had placed his explosion-proof car. He had originally intended to light the stadium, sit in the explosion-proof car, return to the top of the Empire State Building, and watch the fireworks carefully. Now, he's not going to do this anymore. Since these three people want to die on their own, no wonder he. Having stayed in this area for so long, Jiang Xun naturally had a good understanding of the environment here, so he quickly found a tall building that could see the car. He didn't have the idea of confronting the other three at close range. They had a lot of props in their hands, and if they were to confront each other head-on and overturn the car, it wouldn't be good. So he chose to use zombies. Since they wanted to kill themselves through zombies, they had to be prepared to be killed by themselves. The sound and smell of people are the easiest to attract zombies. Jiang Xun muttered to himself as he approached the window of the building and picked up a shoulder-mounted rocket launcher, which had another name, RPG. Then, facing the armored vehicle, he suddenly pressed the trigger. Boom! The armored vehicles were overturned by huge waves and terrifying explosions, and their escape routes were cut off. That's not over yet. Jiang Xun returned to the car once again and activated the wireless-controlled audio system that was installed throughout the entire stadium. As the lyrics of "Woman Mountain" connected to the mountains outside sounded, the zombies of the entire city slowly opened their eyes. After a long period of dormancy in the previous few days, they were awakened by a sound that almost echoed through the sky, and their curious probes were driven by the virus instinct in their bodies, driving them towards the source of that sound. In such an environment, the most panicked were He Chi and his companions. They had just sat in the car when they felt a terrifying vibration that shook the earth and earth. Then the armored vehicle was knocked over by this vibration, and they completely flipped inside the vehicle. This is not the most terrifying thing is that some of the windows of their armored vehicle were shattered by this kind of flipping. One or two zombies, through the glass, have already smelled the human smell inside, and now they are smashing their heads at the window of this car. This armored vehicle is a modified vehicle, not a military type, so they don't know how long it can last, but what they know is that this attack must come from Xian Yuan 14. How could it be? Why could he quickly get out of the zombie siege? He Chi's face was filled with despair. Not only did the other party not fall into the sea of corpses under their own attack, but they could also attack them from other places. This was originally a trap for the zombies, but now it has become their own graveyard. He Chi, don't give up. Let's get out of the car. I still have a talisman, we can run away. The middle-aged man exclaimed loudly. As long as there aren't too many zombies here, they can run away through this talisman. The big deal is just losing some money, how can they afford to lose? Unfortunately, Jiang Xun did not give them this opportunity to fight snakes, but rather to suffer their own harm. Since these people want to harm themselves, they must be prepared to wait for death. He came to the entrance of that floor again, threw down the zombie that was obstructing him, cleared the clutter here, and then dumped a huge oil barrel like this. A large amount of oil fell down like this, pouring directly onto their armored vehicles. The most essential thing in this area is the discarded cars and a large amount of debris, which are excellent explosive and combustible materials. In this place that Jiang Xun has already figured out, everything has enough damage. So, while He Chi was still struggling to get out of the car, Jiang Xun took the initiative to walk up to an open camera and gently waved his hand, goodbye. An incendiary bomb was thrown down by him like this. Look at the camera, he's inside. Xiaomei suddenly said in the car, and then the three of them saw the young man with a cold expression and a cold face. They waved their hands at them and then left the camera. Ah! He Chi was angry, this guy. I should have shot him at the beginning. Get out quickly, there's still hope, said the middle-aged man, and before he could finish speaking, the flames were ignited. A huge explosion followed. Bang! Their car was once again hit and began to bear the second oppression of those vehicle explosions. Now, even He Chi's eyes were left with endless despair. How ruthless! Kill them all and leave no hope. Wu. Meng. Mountain. Connected. Mountain. Outside. Mountain. Jiang Xun sang a song that echoed throughout the city and climbed onto the car roof. At this point, he had already returned to the high platform of the stadium once again, spending some time piling up the holes that had been washed away by the zombies, and throwing them out one by one. Only then did this defense facility truly improve. On this high platform, he could see many zombies rushing towards the city from all directions. The sparsely populated roads were quickly filled with these zombies, and the hopeful He Chi and others were quickly submerged in the zombie crowd and terrifying flames. Jiang Xun didn't even need to light those flames on his own, because the zombies carrying flames had already rushed into the stadium and detonated the explosives that Jiang Xun had already designed, plunging the entire stadium into a sea of fire. Unfortunately, this is not the time to maximize profits. Jiang Xun sighed and picked up his gun, starting to shoot at the zombies. He was originally planning to spend a day attracting zombies and another day sending them away, but now he has to move forward. When he left here, he couldn't keep anything in this world except for the Sora difficult enhancement potion that he could take away, so he naturally had to use it all to get the maximum profit. As for the remaining 3 people, I hope when Jiang Xun finds them, there will still be a whole body left. There are still 2 days left, and it's not realistic to design another venue to kill zombies. Let the flames here burn even more fiercely. Kill a zombie, current task progress. 90745/100, kill a zombie, current task progress. 104665/100, kill a zombie, current task progress. 134515/100, 2 days later, Jiang Xun, with the label of the only survivor in the world, stood in the center of the ruined sports field, waiting for the end of the cycle trial. You have completed all the tasks in the reincarnation world. Do you choose to leave the reincarnation world? Yes. Jiang Xun said. With a flash of light, he disappeared into place. Reincarnator Xian Yuan 14, complete the world main storyline of Zombie World War, by completing the reincarnation world. Kill more than 100 zombies and survive for 7 days, progress 219843/100. In task evaluation settlement, the world evaluation is SS. Congratulations to the reincarnator for successfully completing the world of Zombie World War.